it's still doing its mission. It's still doing its flight. So even with the transmitter turned off.
Hey there everyone, welcome back. So every now and then I go through the local drone Facebook groups here in my area, and I take a look at the questions that are being posted there by oftentimes by new pilots, and these are usually the common questions. But every now and then I would see someone asking if they can go above 120 meters high. And we all know that 120 meters high, 120 meters is the default maximum altitude set on a DJI drone. And it's also the maximum allowed altitude set by the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, or the CAAP, and I think also by the FAA. The reason he actually wanted to fly higher than 120 meters is because he had a plot of land. The area was around 10 hectares. And he wanted to know how he would be able to take a photo or a video of that piece of land. So that actually led me to this wonderful software solution. Stay tuned.
Hey there everyone, so we're out here in the field today and we are going to be flying our Phantom today because we are going to be trying out a software called Precision Flight or Precision Mapper, which is basically an automated way of having your Phantom fly in and cover a particular area. It's gonna fly in pattern, and it's great because you can use it like if you need to survey a particular plot of land, or there's a lot of uses for it. Last night I already installed the application for the phone, and already planned out the flight for today. So today we're just going to need to plug in our Phantom, plug in our phone to that Phantom, and run the software, and let's see how it does.
So let's start the Precision Flight app on our phone. Like the DJI Go app, this app is oriented horizontally, and you don't need your drone to be connected right now to plan a flight. So you can just plan a flight first, and you have these three options. Grid is the most common option you're going to be using, and this flies in a zigzag pattern across an area. Orbit is like the point of interest, but this is automatic, and video, you have to have your drone connected for this one. Alright, so we will be going back and choosing grid, and then we'll hit on choose. Okay, so first we need to give our flight plan a name. For this one, we'll name it UPCMO. You can drag the height, or you can actually type it in as well by clicking on the buttons beside the altitude. And then we will be clicking on search for location, and then type UP campus, because that's where the field is. And we can just pinch zoom to zoom out, and then drag the map around so that we can find the field we're flying on. If you hit draw, it's gonna drop that grid, and then you just need to fine-tune the area that you want that grid in. And then you can see up there in the area, it gives you an estimated area for that particular grid, and also the flight time, and there is a resolution for your image. So you can see that right now we're still fine-tuning the area that we want to do our survey, and it will have a flight time of about 5 minutes. We can add additional points as necessary just to fine-tune those edges, and then we'll just hit save. To connect your phone to your drone, you can just tap on the upper left button, and then you can choose any of the flight plans you created previously, and then just tap fly, and you can upload that mission to your drone. It's gonna take just a short time, and then it'll give you the option to start the mission by sliding that slider up. And from that point on, it's all automatic. It's going to fly to your the preset altitude, and then it's going to tilt the camera down. And then once it reaches the altitude you chose for this mission, then it's going to head on to one of the corners of the area of the grid that you've set. In this case, you can see that it's marked with a number 1. So now it's flying towards that point, and once it reaches that point, it's going to start snapping pictures it's gonna take some photos, a lot of photos, and at preset intervals. You are not you don't set this manually yourself. It just does this automatically. So this is a very big area. We are just going to wait until it reaches the first waypoint, and then it's gonna start its mission now. And then we're just gonna hit on fast forward until we reach the end of this mission.
We just finished this mission, now it's heading back home.
Alright, so we've completed our first flight planner mission, and we were able to go around. It was seamless and automatic. So you just from the app, you tell it to start the mission, and then you tell it to take off, and it does everything by itself. It flies the whole path automatically. You can input some stick control just in case there's an obstacle or something. So you still have that input, but basically it'll fly itself, and after it goes through the whole area, it's going to automatically go home. So from start to finish, it's an automatic process. We will probably do a couple more missions, and then we will just we'll upload all of these data that we gathered into Precision Mapper.
I just want to show you quickly the orbit mode, which is very similar to the grid mode, except that instead of dropping a rectangle, you drop a circle, and you can drag that circle around to expand or to contract, and to fine-tune where you want that point of interest to be, and how big your orbit you want to be. Now, some of you might note that the DJI Go app already has a point of interest mode, but for that you have to actually fly directly on top of the point of interest, and then set that as the point of interest, fly back to determine the radius, and then actually start the orbit. But here you can just simply locate that point in the map, and then create a flight plan around it. So here I want to show you another flight plan that I created. Notice that instead of showing you the flight time, it shows you the number of flights required to complete this mission. And this is what happens when you plot out a very large area. So the software automatically takes into consideration the battery and the flight time. So let's go start this mission up, and let's see what happens. Now, I just want to show you quickly
from
as
aircraft.
well what happens if you get disconnected from your drone, or what happens if you, in this case, I just turned off my my transmitter to simulate getting disconnected from my drone. So Precision Flight is completely autonomous. It uploads the entire flight into your drone, so it knows what to do, where to go, regardless if you get disconnected from your drone. So here, if we're gonna be turning on our transmitter again, and we're reconnecting to the drone, and you can see that it even without you, it still continued on its mission, and continued on with the grid pattern, and shot some photos of the area. Alright, so once you reach around 35%, it's going to give you a warning that it's low battery, and it might not be able to complete that mission, which is expected because it gave us an estimated required flights of about 2 flights. So once it hits 30%, it's going to go home, and to your home position, and it's going to land there. Now, to resume your mission, you just need to replace your battery, plug in a new battery, and then click on the flight plans, and then you'll see there's a section called incomplete flights, and you just select that previous mission and then hit on resume. The great thing about this is even if you have just one battery, you can finish that flight plan, go home, charge your battery, and go back to that field the following day, and just resume your the mission that you did the previous day. Okay, so now we're going to the Precision Mapper website and log in. Sign up if you don't already have a username, and then click on Upload Survey. We're going to choose RAW because we're going to upload the raw photos taken from our Phantom. And then we're just going to choose the images, and we need to go to the folder where you have all of those saved. And just select all of those photos and open it in the Precision Mapper website. And it's got to take a little bit of time just to check all of these images. And once it's done scanning all of your images for the GPS data, you just need to click on next. And then you can choose in the camera parameters section, you just choose your sensor group. Since we have a regular Phantom, we just choose RGB. We don't have any infrared capabilities. But if you have a drone with like infrared or thermal imaging, then this is where you can choose those kind of sensors. And we choose our drone platform. In this case, I have a Phantom 3 Advanced, and we just click on that. And then you can see that yeah, that's all good, it's all detected, and you just have to click on next. And then for the survey name, just put in a name. Here we took this area around Sortumana Bridge, and then just click on next, and then you choose your desired output. We will check 3D outputs as well, and then the contours will just set it at the defaults. And then you just need to hit start upload, and it's going to upload all of those images onto the Precision Mapper system. So once it finishes uploading, you can go to the survey, but it still needs to process all of that data, so it could take between a couple of minutes to a couple of hours depending on how large that area was. And you can choose to wait, or you can choose to have Precision Mapper notify you by email. So here in my case, Precision Mapper already completed all of the processing, so we can just go directly and just accept. Just click on accept on the screen, and now we can see that the whole area that we surveyed is now stitched together, and you can see it overlaid on a map. Now, once again, the advantage of having multiple images stitched together instead of having one large image is that you can zoom in pretty close. And we'll try to zoom in to the maximum here, and you can see that it really does capture a lot of detail, because you can really zoom in and look at those details, and it's still going to give you a clear picture. Since you also chose to create a 3D output, we're just going to click on the 3D button on the upper left, and it'll take a while for it to load the 3D model. But once it does, you can see that the survey area was, or at least it was approximated as a 3D model, and you can really see that the trucks are standing out, the trees are standing out. Some details are a little bit like a bit muddy and weird, warp or something, but overall it did pretty good job at estimating the height of some objects. You can go around using the left mouse button. You can also use the right mouse button and the scroll wheel to navigate yourself around that 3D space. Now, these basic tools are free, but the power of Precision Mapper is really for industrial purposes. So if you go over to the algorithms tab, we can see that there are loads of other algorithms that you can apply to your survey, such as this difference vegetation index, and all of these things that a lot of these are for agricultural use or forestry use. So yeah, in our case, if we go back to our survey page on the 2D page, and then just scroll down, you can see that we actually have other applicable algorithms like Greenleaf and Visual NDVI. And you can check what exactly is this Visual NDVI, and what does it do. So it does give you a short description about that algorithm, and then just going through a couple of options quickly, and then it'll process again, and then it'll send you an email once it's complete. And you can see that it is like a a thermal map showing the vegetation in the area, or how it looks, how thick the vegetation is. There are other algorithms as well, like this Scout View algorithm, which creates a downloadable PDF. And I think this is great if you are a real estate agent selling a large piece of land, because you can just email this document to your clients, and then they will still get a very high resolution image of that particular area.
So going back to the original question, how high do you actually need your drone to be able to take a photo or a video of an area that's 10 hectares? And well, first of all, the advantage of using Precision Mapper is that it takes multiple photos at lower altitude, so you get more detail and you get a higher resolution image because it has all those smaller photos and it stitches them all together. But we can actually compute, if you just wanted to take one photo, we can actually compute mathematically on how to do that. And first, we take one of the shots, one of the photos that was taken by the drone, and one of the given is we already know how high the drone was flying when it took that photo.
Okay, at this point I'm going to be discussing step by step the math involved to get the actual height you need to fly your drone at to capture an area of 100,000 square meters or 10 hectares. Now, if math isn't your thing, I do suggest you skip forward about 6 minutes where you can see the answer to this question and also the conclusion to this video. Here's one of the photos taken by the drone during the precision flight mission. We set the drone height for this mission to 70 meters high. The formula for calculating area is simply length times width. But what is the length and width of this area? To get that, we can simply open up Google Maps, locate this exact area, and try to approximate the measurements edge to edge. I'm gonna overlay the original photo over Google Maps in this video so you can get a clearer picture of what I'm trying to do. So first we need to find the approximate point where the edge of our photo is and right click on that point in Google Maps, and then we're going to click on measure distance, and after that we need to click on the approximate location of the other edge of that photo, and then we're going to do that the same process again on the long side. So now we know that this photo is 85 meters by 120 meters, giving us an area of 10,200 square meters. That's what the fandom can see, an area of 10,200 square meters at a height of 70 meters. What we need to find is the height required if we were to capture an area of 10 hectares or 100,000 square meters. We already know the length and the width of this area taken from 70 meters high, and that gives us an area of 10,200 square meters. And we need to look for the length of the sides of a same-shaped rectangle with an area of 100,000 square meters. Step 1. We need to look for the relationship of L and W, or more accurately, the ratio. We can do that by dividing one side with the other. So we divide 120 meters by 85 meters to get 1.412. In this case, the photo taken by the drone at any height would not change in dimensions, just what is taken inside that area. So we can say that regardless of how high a photo was taken or how high the drone was flying, the ratio of length and width will always be the same. Since we now have the ratio of the sides, we can use this value to rewrite our formula for area and express it as one variable, in order to look for L and W for the area with 100,000 square meters. So our original formula is length times width is equals to the area. So if we use x to represent L, then we can write the width as 1.412x. It's like saying that the width is 1.412 times the length. So if we plug those values in, we have x times 1.412x is equals to 100,000. And if we multiply x by 1.412x, we have 1.412x squared is equals to 100,000. And by dividing both sides by 1.412, that gives us x squared is equals to 100,000 divided by 1.412, or that is also equals to 70,821.53. And square rooting both sides will give us will yield x is equals to the square root of 70,821.53, or 266.12 meters. And that is we now found one side of our rectangle. Now that we've found the length of one side of our rectangle, and we know the relationship between the two sides of our rectangle, which is a ratio of 1.412, we can simply multiply 266.12 meters, which is the length of one side, by 1.412, and that will give us the length of the other side of the rectangle, which is 375.77 meters. And now we know the length and width of our original rectangle, which was taken at 70 meters high, and also the length of our rectangle, yielding an area of 100,000 square meters. And to double check, you can always multiply 277.12 by 375.77, and it'll give you an approximate result of 100,000 square meters. But we still have one more step to do, and that is to find the height that we need to take this larger rectangle. And for this step, we actually need just one side of that rectangle. So we are going to be using the longer side. So for the original image taken at 70 meters high, we know that it was taken at 70 meters high. So we know that the long side is 120 meters long. And that the drone is perfectly or approximately perfectly perpendicular to the ground, so that gives us a right triangle. So similar to the rectangles, no matter how high the drone flies, it's going to be, you know, almost perfectly right angle to the ground, which gives us, you know, two similar triangles. And since we also know the long side of that larger rectangle or that larger area, we can just use a simple ratio and proportion to look for the value of the height that you need to take that area of 100,000 square meters. And to do that, we simply need to divide the height that we're looking for by 375.77. And equate that to the height of the original the original area that we took, and we know that it was 70 meters high, and divide that by the long side, which was 120 meters, and simplifying that formula and transposing 375.77 to the other side, we get 70 divided by 120 multiplied by 375.77, and solving for that, we get the answer of 219.33 meters high, and that is the height required to fly your drone at in order to be able to take an area of 100,000 square meters. 220 meters is almost 100. It's almost 100 meters higher than the legal limit of 120 meters. So that's definitely going to be very, very high. And again, one of the downsides of doing this technique is that you're not gonna get much detail in the end footage because you're flying so high. You know, all of the things that you can see on the ground are just, you know, like a tiny pixel or a speck. So just to give you a perspective, here again is the Google Maps, and we are going to be measuring an area which is 375.77 meters long, just to give you an idea of how large 100,000 square meters is.
So that is the video for today. What do you think about Precision Flight and Precision Mapper? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, click on the like button, hit on the subscribe so you're notified if I have come out with new videos in the future. And as always, keep building and keep flying.
So as you can see, the transmitter is turned off, and the drone is still up there. It's still performing its mission. It's still doing its round, so I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's gonna get a little bit closer in a minute. And in a bit, it's also going to be going home because it's running out of battery, slow battery.